In this video, I'm just going to take a moment to summarize electrolytes for you. Hopefully you watched the homework video and this will just help tie all the pieces together so that you can do the rest of assignments more easily. This summary is on page 5 of your note packet. You might want to take some notes along with me because I'm going to write some extra things on it. Electrolytes are substances that when you dissolve them in water, they break up into ions, and in doing so, they conduct electricity. Now, why does this happen? Because electricity is moving charge. So electrolytes have charge that moves and therefore electricity can flow through it. Now, some substances might ionize and break up into ions completely, and we call those strong electrolytes. So these are going to break up into a lot of ions and conduct very well. And for these substances, like something like NaCl, you're not going to find it as Na with Cl anymore. I'm going to have separated Na plus and Cl minus ions that can flow through solution and carry charge, therefore conduct electricity. Weak electrolytes are substances that, while some of it might ionize, it doesn't fully ionize. So we say anything less than 100% is really considered a weak electrolyte. Most of them ionize very, very little, like 5% or less, but technically anything less than 100% is a weak electrolyte. And non-electrolytes are things that do not ionize at all. They might dissolve. They might be aqueous, but they do not break up into ions when they dissolve. And if we think about substances that would do that, that would be things like your molecular compounds, things that are made up of nonmetals that aren't made up of ions. So you don't have ions that are breaking apart. You are not making ions. So while this substance here, this is sucrose, does dissolve, it doesn't break up into ions. So it is a non-electrolyte. AQ, meaning it dissolves, is completely different than ionizing. So let's talk about what makes a strong electrolyte. There are 3 categories, and you need to know these. If you have a soluble salt is another name for an ionic compound that's soluble, a strong acid or a strong base, you have a strong electrolyte. So how do you know if you have a soluble salt? First of all, you need to memorize for the AP, and this is the slide before it on page 5 of your note packet, you need to memorize that group 1 ammonium and nitrate salts are always soluble. So if you see an ionic compound with either group 1 ammonium or nitrate in it and it's dissolved in water, it is a soluble ionic compound. Now there's many other ionic compounds that are soluble. Actually, a majority of ionic compounds are soluble in water. You just don't have to memorize anything beyond this. So how do you get past that? So aside from memorizing these 3, look at the information that's given in a problem. If you see anything about the ionic compound dissolving, anything about a solution forming, or if you see AQ, aqueous, next to any ionic compound, it's implying that that ionic compound is soluble, and therefore it is a strong electrolyte. So if an ionic compound dissolves, it's a strong electrolyte. If an ionic compound doesn't dissolve, notice I put insoluble under weak electrolyte, not under non-electrolyte. It's a little bit misleading when it says insoluble. Insoluble means that less than this special cutoff value dissolves. And usually that special cutoff value is something like 0.001 moles per liter. So even though very little dissolves, some of it is still ionizing because when it dissolves, it breaks into ions. That's what ionic compounds do. So if you have a little bit of ions, it can still conduct electricity, thus is a weak electrolyte. So ionic is never under this non-electrolyte category. If it's ionic and soluble, strong electrolyte. Ionic and insoluble, weak electrolyte. Now, acids and bases are other things that can be electrolytes because they break up into ions when dissolved in water. But not all of them 100% ionize. You need to memorize which acids and which bases 100% ionize are strong. So we have lists for that. And right now that list is in your note packet. This is on page 4 of your note packet. If I go back, you can use this for any activities in the meantime, but you're eventually going to have to memorize this for tests, and it'll make writing net ionic equations later much easier if you memorize this. There are 6 strong acids. Here's their formulas, here's their names. There's 3 that are polyatomic, 3 that have polyatomic ions, 3 that are binary. And Mr. Haig, the other chemistry teacher, has a wonderful way of memorizing this. Nitric sulfate nitric sulfuric perchloric O my, HCl, HBr, NHI. So you need to memorize these 6 strong acids. Acids are always going to be written aqueous. If it's an acid, it's already dissolved in water. So HClAq, the fact that it is a strong acid is telling me that it's the strong electrolyte. If I have an acid that is not on this strong list, it is a weak electrolyte. So only these 6 acids are strong electrolytes. Any other acid not on this list, including derivations like HNO2 instead of HNO3, are weak electrolytes. So acids will be electrolytes, but strong only if it's on the strong list. And same with bases, it is a strong electrolyte only if it's on my strong list. If you see a compound that ends in an OH and has a metal ion in front or any positive ion, then it can be classified as a base. Just beware something like CH3OH, something with C's and H's and an OH at the end, that's an alcohol, not a base. But group 1, the heavy group 2, which I call Cabasser. Group 1 and Cabasser with OH, those are my strong bases. If I see a base and it's group 1 or Cabasser with OH, it's strong. Any other base is weak. It's not on my strong list, it's weak. So hopefully this kind of helps to go through what it is to be an electrolyte, and you can do the following activities a little better. Feel free to come back to this video anytime needed.